Did you know Microsoft has officially ended support for Windows 10? Upgrade to Windows 11 with an LG Gram laptop. Voted PC Mag's Reader's Choice Top Laptop Brand for 2025. Thin and ultra lightweight, the LG Gram keeps you productive anywhere, and Windows 11 gives you access to free security updates and ongoing feature upgrades. Visit lgusa.com/iHeart for great seasonal savings on LG Gram laptops with Windows 11. PC Mag Reader's Choice used with permission. All rights reserved.
Happy holidays! Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy Holiday.
If something in your relationship feels off, but you can't explain why. If you've spent years trying harder in the relationship, and yet it just keeps hurting, this space is for you. Welcome to the Covert Narcissism Podcast. Before we begin today, I want to invite you into a brief grounding ritual. Nothing complicated, nothing performative, just a pause. Wherever you are right now, sitting, driving, lying down, let your shoulders drop just a little. Unclench your jaw, wiggle your hips back and forth. Take a deep, cleansing breath. You don't need to focus, you don't need to visualize anything. Just notice that you are here, listening, and remind yourself that in this moment, you are okay. Welcome back to the Covert Narcissism Podcast. I'm your host, Renee Swanson. If you're listening to this on January 1st, 2026, I want to begin by releasing you from one quiet pressure that often comes with a new year. The idea that you should feel more clear, more hopeful, more resolved, maybe more healed by now, more motivated. A calendar change does not magically untangle years of emotional confusion. And if you've lived inside covert narcissistic dynamics, fresh starts can feel actually more disorienting than comforting. They can add more pressure than they do relief. For many survivors, January does not feel like a beginning at all. It feels like an aftermath. For many of you, you just survived a holiday season with a covert narcissist in your life. And I want to name this plainly. This is a significant emotional accomplishment just to survive the holidays. The holidays in those dynamics are not neutral. They require vigilance, anticipation, emotional management, reading the room, regulating someone else's moods while ignoring your own, making things nice enough so nothing explodes, while knowing that even then, sometimes it still might. So now you're standing in the quiet that follows those holiday seasons. The decorations come down, the gatherings are over, and suddenly there is space, but it's not a peaceful space. It is, though, sometimes a revealing space, a space where your body finally exhales and your mind starts replaying moments that you didn't have time to process in real time. Conversations maybe that felt strange, tension that you couldn't name, that familiar feeling that something was off, but you pushed through anyways because you had to. This is often when the questions get louder. What actually happened? Why do I feel so depleted? Why can't I shake this heaviness if the holidays are over? Nothing is wrong with you for feeling this way. Your system is just now catching up. Your system is finally breathing. For others of you, this was maybe your first holiday season without the covert narcissist. And while there may have been relief, like less tension, fewer emotional landmines, there can also be a surprising kind of grief. Maybe the quiet felt strange. Maybe you missed parts of the ritual even while knowing the relationship itself was still harmful, and this feels more confusing. Maybe you felt untethered, but unsure of who you are in these moments without the constant emotional orbit around someone else. Sometimes that absence brings clarity, but sometimes it brings disorientation. Both are normal. You may be asking your question, You may be asking yourself questions that you didn't expect. such as, why do I still feel unsettled when I'm finally free? Why does this still hurt if I know it was unhealthy? Why do I feel both relief and loss at the same time? Do I miss them? Do I want them back? Or do I want this freedom and peace? These questions do not mean you made the wrong choice. They mean your nervous system lived in something for so long, and it doesn't instantly recalibrate just because your circumstances and your environment changed. Now, for some of you, you may have been out for years, sometimes many years, but the holiday season still lands heavy in your body. You may no longer be in contact. You may have actually rebuilt a life that looks calm and stable and even good from the outside. And yet, when the calendar turns, something familiar stirs. Your sleep changes. Your patience thins. Your chest feels tighter. Old memories surface without warning. You certainly weren't trying to call them up. Not necessarily full stories, but glimpses and sensations. A tone of voice, a look across the room, the feeling of bracing without knowing why. This can be deeply confusing, especially when you believe that your past should be past by now. You might catch yourself wondering why something that ended years ago still shows up, or why the season still carries weight when the danger is no longer present. But trauma does not operate on a calendar. Your nervous system remembers patterns long after your mind understands the truth. The holidays were not just events, they were recurring stress cycles, and your body learned them well. So if January arrives and you feel unsettled even years later, that does not mean that your healing failed. It means your system is still learning safety in places where it once had to stay so alert. Nothing about this makes you weak or stuck. It just makes you human. And this year, instead of pushing those reactions away or criticizing yourself for having them, we will meet them with curiosity and steadiness. Not to relive the past, but to gently teach your system that the threat is no longer there and that you are allowed to rest now. This is not a setback. It's an invitation to continue orienting towards safety at your own pace. So, whether you're coming into January exhausted from surviving or unsteady from adjusting, this moment is not asking you to figure anything out. It's simply asking you to notice where you are right now and to allow yourself to orient gently to your current, to your present, without judgment before anything else.
Did you know Microsoft has officially ended support for Windows 10? Upgrade to Windows 11 with an LG Gram laptop. Voted PC Mag's Reader's Choice Top Laptop Brand for 2025. Thin and ultra lightweight, the LG Gram keeps you productive anywhere. And Windows 11 gives you access to free security updates and ongoing feature upgrades. Visit lgusa.com/iHeart for great seasonal savings on LG Gram laptops with Windows 11. PC Mag Reader's Choice used with permission. All rights reserved.
This year does not begin with answers. It begins with awareness. This year is not about urgency. It's about orientation. Now I want to invite you on a guided journey with me this year, and I'm going to explain it here in this episode. Most people think healing starts with a decision. Should I stay or should I leave? Should I confront this or should I look the other way? Should I be over this by now, or is it okay that I'm taking more time? These questions are exhausting and sometimes impossible to answer. Orientation comes before decisions. Orientation is about answering quieter questions. How am I doing right now? What direction has my nervous system been pulled in for years? What is my next single right step? What am I still carrying that I never had the language for? When you've lived in covert narcissistic dynamics, your internal compass gets scrambled. Not because you're weak, not because you didn't try hard enough, but because you were living in an environment where reality kept shifting. So now let's talk about this guided journey that we're going to take together. This journey applies no matter where you are right now. Whether you are 3 years out of the relationship and still feel like they live rent-free in your head, whether you are 30 years in and quietly wondering how your life got so small, Whether you've been reading about covert narcissism for years, listening to podcasts, searching for the right words, or whether you just learned the term yesterday and felt your stomach drop because suddenly everything made sense. This path is for you. Covert narcissistic abuse does not follow a linear timeline, and neither does your healing. You don't age out of the impact. Time does not heal all wounds. You don't become immune because you left, and you don't suddenly feel settled just because you finally got the right label. What most people need, regardless of how long they've known about covert narcissism, is structure, pacing, and most importantly, safety. Many of my listeners already know a lot. You've read the articles, you've highlighted the books, you've listened to dozens, maybe hundreds of episodes, and yet something still doesn't land, or something still needs to happen in your healing. That's because information without orientation often gets confusing, overwhelming. It can even turn inward as self-blame. You start asking yourself, why do I still think about this? Why do I still feel triggered? Why can't I just apply what I know? Why can't I move on? Well, this year, we are changing that. This year, this podcast becomes a path, not a pile of information or just a bunch of random episodes. It's a path. Each episode is intentionally designed and placed in order to help you stabilize the internal noise, to understand what happened without obsessing, to rebuild trust in yourself, to learn how to hold boundaries internally first. Not through pressure, not through forcing insight, but through understanding, pacing, and steadiness. You don't need to know where this journey ends. You just need to know that you're not lost. As we begin this year, I want to offer you some permissions. You are allowed to not know what your future will look like. You are allowed to pause without deciding anything right now. You are allowed to learn without leaving. You are allowed to leave without fully understanding. You are allowed to stay while you figure this out. You are allowed to grieve what never had words. You are allowed to go slowly, even if others don't understand why. Healing does not require urgency. It requires safety. Over the coming months, we will gently walk through why clarity takes time, how chronic emotional ambiguity impacts your nervous system, why self-trust erodes and how it returns, what it means to rebuild a sense of self without pressure. No diagnosing, no shaming, no pushing, just steady progress forward. Now, before we close today, I want to orient you on how this podcast will unfold moving forward so that you know what to expect and there's no pressure to keep up or to do this right. This journey that I've been talking about, the slow, steady path of orientation, nervous system safety, and rebuilding self-trust, that will live in my Sunday episodes. Sundays are where we will stay grounded, where we will walk concepts through your body, not just your mind, where we will revisit themes more than once because repetition is how safety is built. I truly look forward to taking this journey with you week by week at a pace that supports you rather than overwhelms you. Now let's talk about Thursdays. Thursdays are getting a new kind of energy this year. Starting this year, my Thursday episodes are going to have a different flair. They will still be thoughtful and intentional, but they will be more interactive, more connective, more reflective of the fact that healing does not happen in isolation. One of the things I've learned over and over again in this journey is survivors don't need more advice. They need to know they're not alone. They need to hear, oh, it's not just me. They need spaces where the things that were confusing and invisible in their own lives are finally named out loud without judgment, without urgency, and without being told what they should do next. So within the Thursday episodes, I will be weaving in community conversations. I'm going to call them community chats. These are not coaching sessions. They are not problem-solving rooms. They are guided, moderated spaces where people who are living this and healing from it can speak honestly and be heard without being corrected, rushed, or minimized. The community chats will happen every third Thursday, and I am excited to invite you to join one. If and when it feels right, you can learn more and sign up to participate in the community chats on my website at covertnarcissism.com. Just go to the drop-down menu and click on Community Chats. There's no obligation, no pressure, and no expectation that you be ready to speak. This year is about creating rhythm instead of pressure, path instead of piles of information, connection instead of isolation. I'm really glad you're here, and I genuinely look forward to walking this with you. Sundays for steadiness, Thursdays for connection. And this space as a place where you don't have to explain yourself to be understood. I will be here with you step by step. I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. If there were ever an audience that I wish did not have to exist, it would be this one. Because of what it means you've lived through. I'm truly sorry that you understand this so deeply. And I'm really glad that you're here. May this be a place of safety, clarity, and peace. You are not alone anymore, and you don't have to figure this out by yourself. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe so you don't miss future conversations. And if you'd like to learn more about the support, resources, or coaching that is available for you, you can visit covertnarcissism.com. While I hate it for everyone who understands what I am talking about, I'm really glad that you're here, and I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. The information provided by Renee Swanson, Covert Narcissism Podcast, and CNG Life Coaching is for educational purposes only and is not to be used for diagnosis purposes. It is not intended to be a substitute for clinical care. Please consult a healthcare provider for guidance specific to your case. This material discusses narcissism in general. Renee shares stories from her personal experience as well as from those that she has worked with for several years. Her material does not claim that any specific person has narcissism and should not be used to refer to any specific person as having narcissism. Permission is not granted to link to or repost this material to support an allegation or support a claim that any specific person is a narcissist. That would be an unauthorized misuse of the material and the information provided. Thank you.
Did you know Microsoft has officially ended support for Windows 10? Upgrade to Windows 11 with an LG Gram laptop. Voted PC Mag's Reader's Choice Top Laptop Brand for 2025. Thin and ultra lightweight, the LG Gram keeps you productive anywhere. And Windows 11 gives you access to free security updates and ongoing feature upgrades. Visit lgusa.com/iHeart for great seasonal savings on LG Gram laptops with Windows 11. PC Mag Reader's Choice used with permission. All rights reserved.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening. Happy holidays! Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a happy holiday.
Did you grow up with a Jekyll and Hyde parent, the kind you had to tiptoe around just to keep the peace? So did I. I'm therapist Tori Wixel. Every Tuesday on my podcast, You're Not Crazy, I talk about what it's actually like to grow up with a toxic parent. We dive into the reality of what it means to be a cycle breaker and an emotionally healthy adult when all you saw growing up was what you didn't want to do. If you're ready to stop questioning your own sanity, tune in to You're Not Crazy wherever you listen to podcasts.